Today we're going to talk about the algorithm of anxiety and how to game the algorithm. Is that what you do with algorithms?
Do you game the
How do you
algorithm?
beat the algorithm?
Play the algorithm?
Beat the
Beat
algorithm.
the algorithm? Beat it, I guess. Beat it to a slow and steady death.
Beating the algorithm of anxiety.
Yeah. So I really probably was being beaten by the algorithm anxiety this morning, because I guess I woke up, I don't know, about 5:30, worrying about our youngest daughter who's about to move out. Which is, now we're actually saying she is about to move out. Whereas yesterday we were saying, should she move out? Is that sensible to let her move out? Can she afford to move out? Can we afford for her to move out? And many other different scenarios that I was getting into negative future fantasy about.
It was a last minute opportunity that showed up that needed a quick decision.
Yes, it was a seize the ball by the horns moment.
Did you say the ball or the bull?
No, the ball. Did I say balls?
I thought you said ball.
I said seize the ball by the horn. Not seize the balls. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So I am now using this metaphor around algorithms because I feel like it points to how the mind works in a very elegant way.
After watching the Social Dilemma documentary.
Which you should all watch, I hasten to add. But the story that I wanted to tell is how I have fallen foul of the algorithmic machinery in TikTok, which I'm kind of ashamed to admit out loud that I have started a little bit of a habit around what's going on TikTok.
You have a TikTok habit that I don't know about?
I have a little bit of a TikTok habit. I think it's starting to go on the wane now, fortunately. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But I will say this. So one day I was looking at TikTok and this fishing video popped up, and I thought to myself, I better look at that because maybe this is a fishing video that I can send my brother. He likes fishing, so he'll like to have a fishing video. I shall redirect this his way. So I watched the whole fishing video, and the rod is bending over double, and no frigging fish ends up in the boat. So that's kind of
disappointing.
Very disappointing, and should I say frustrating. But anyway, the algorithmic gods of TikTok decide, he's watched a fishing video, we better send him another one. So they send me another one, and lo and behold, I'm watching it, waiting for this fish to be caught and got in the boat, and that's just not part of the experience. So again, I've watched a whole fishing video. Algorithmic gods are like, whoa, he watched a fishing video, better send him another one. Anyway, you know where we're going with this. Cut a long story short, after a week of this, my whole feed is now filled with fishing videos. So why I like this as an example or a way to metaphorically describe the nature of thought is that I realize that if I am to dwell on one specific pattern of thought, it will constantly get in my feed, and the more that I dwell on it, the more likely it is to get into my feed to grow and expand. And the only way that I can get that out of my feed, particularly with this damn fishing video, or damn fishing videos, is to stop looking at them. So it's not like I can flip a switch, although apparently now you've told me since that there is a switch that I can flip. There's a button that I can press and I can take that out of my feed.
I think you say not interested, something like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway, so that would ruin my metaphor because there's no magic bullet here with thought. But the metaphor for me is that I can stop looking at that feed. I can start to realize that through understanding is that I don't have to give it the attention, particularly if I understand how it all works and operates, how the mind works and operates. I don't have to give that any kind of respect, that train of thought. And the opportunity for me, to break the algorithm, as it were, the algorithm of anxiety is to be more in the moment and to trust my instincts. So my instincts are telling me around my daughter moving out that is a very smart move and a wise decision as far as she's concerned. And I should just be able to trust that and ignore the algorithmic feed as like a million different things why this is not a good idea.
All the dad worries.
All the possible worst case scenarios that I can imagine and throw into the equation, which the more that I put that into my algorithm, the more that's going to show up. And all along, all I need to do is trust my instincts, and all along my instincts are like, yeah, that seems like a really good idea.
I'm glad we're on the same page
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
And then with what you're saying, how we have what we do have the ability to do is to not identify with thought. That's what you're pointing to. So not identifying with the algorithm, not identifying with the anxiety. And what that opens us up to when we're not identifying with the content of our thinking is it allows room for us to experience what you're saying is that presence, that being present in the moment. And when we're present in the moment, we have an experiential knowing of who we are beyond thought. Like that's what goes beyond all of the conditioned thinking or the algorithm that you're calling it. And that's that knowing that she's okay. That's that knowing that we'll be fine, whatever unfolds from that experience. And really that's how you beat the algorithm, is through presence.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that what you're saying about how we choose to identify with thought is really, that puts us into the realm of our intellectual machinery. And that really the only way to get beyond that is to find a way to get into the presence, not trust the algorithm, not trust the feed, and find our way into the now. And in the now, that is a place that is beyond our intellectual machinery, that is a surrender and acceptance to what is, but more importantly, it's a surrender to our essential nature, where we can start to follow our instincts. Our instincts will become more apparent to us the more that we get out of our intellectual machinery.
Yeah. And just like with TikTok, our minds can fill up with anxious thoughts, and that's nothing to freak out about. That's a normal part of the human condition. What is helpful, though, is to recognize that we don't need to worry about that. I think oftentimes when we are struggling, like you were struggling with some anxiety this morning, it's like we can get worried that we're having so much anxiety when really no big deal. It's just another fishing video in your feed. It's
Exactly.
not something to worry about.
This morning, my level of anxiety would be the equivalent to me, a fishing video! Another fishing video! Fishing videos! I can't stop the fishing videos! Go away, fishing videos! What do I do? How do I get rid of them?
And then the algorithm loves that. Goes, oh, he really is interacting with these fishing videos. Give him some more of that.
Exactly.
And that's really, like, any attention that we give those thoughts, any identification with them, it's like, oh, get more of that. And it's absolutely okay to have the full range of human thoughts, the full range of human experience. It is not who you are. It is temporary. It is passing. I think, Angus, you've moved on from all the fishing videos in your feed right now. Your anxiety will pass through you. It won't always continue to be high. So just understanding that is such a relief. So hopefully this is helpful. And you might have learned something about TikTok. You might have learned something about thought. Who knows? You might have learned to watch The Social Dilemma. Lots to share with you.
Yes.
What? What's happening?
I had something else to say.
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say that I want to observe my anxious thinking in the same way that I might observe the fishing videos in my TikTok feed, in a comfy chair without having to take it so personally. And that will allow me to have a much better human experience. Because of this morning, I was not having a particularly enjoyable human experience because I was fully identified with that pattern of thinking.
Yeah, which happens to the best of us, I think.
Yeah. Well, anyway, goodbye.
All right, have a great weekend. Bye.